beginning the next book in Abraham Hannibal and the Battle for the Throne by Francis Summers Cox. Today is chapter 1, and it's called Captured Again. The date is June, the year 1704. "Run!" the boy screamed. "Run for your life!" He turned and started running back up the beach toward the hillside, but it was too late. For the second time in his life, he felt himself grabbed, turned upside down, and carried off over a man's shoulder. There was a loud noise of laughing and talking, and then a terrible thump and a hot, scraping pain in his hands and face and knees as he was thrown violently face down into the bottom of a little boat. Then the girl was dumped down there too. He felt his wrists yanked roughly behind his back and tied, his legs tied at the knees, and then the boat was tugged along the water's edge, crunching on the pebbly bottom. At last the men seemed to reach the place they wanted, and Abraham felt the little boat rocking wildly as they lifted out great water barrels. Out of the corner of his eye, he could see them heave the barrels over the sides, and the girl were left alone in the bottom of the boat. Are you all right, Naganga?" groaned Abraham. "I think yes. But who are these men? I'm sure I heard them talking Arabic." "Yes, I heard them too, though it's not much like the kind of Arabic I know. They're pirates. They must be. That French ship out there can't be. It can't be theirs. They must have captured it." Abraham was still lying with his face against the salty, soaking bottom of the boat. "What are they doing now? I can't see a thing." With a lot of wriggling and grunting, he managed to turn himself around so that he was facing upward. Naganga was on the other side of the boat, her hands and legs tied too, but at least she was already on her back. She had even managed to half sit up. But all the two children could see was the wooden planks of the boat's sides. Abraham closed his eyes. His bruised knees throbbed, and the scraped skin on his face and hands and legs stung. But far worse than that was the cold, sick feeling of a complete despair. "I'm back where I started. I'm a slave again. I never got free at all." Suddenly he felt a gentle kick against his leg. "Abraham, are you all right?" Somehow Naganga had wriggled over so that she could just touch him with her foot. "Listen, Abraham. Maybe it's not so bad. We are alive, and at least this way we are leaving the island. Somehow we will escape, won't we? We'll find a way to escape. We can escape, if we really want to." He smiled at Naganga and nodded. She really was like his little sister. That was exactly what Lahea would have said. "If you want something badly enough, and don't give up wanting it, you'll get it in the end." That's what Lahea always said. She wouldn't want me to give up hope. Very firmly, Abraham said, "You're right, Naganga. We'll escape." Just then the men started coming back to the boat. They were fierce-faced and bearded, wearing wide sailor's trousers and bright short jackets and white turbans wound round red caps. Each one had a shining curved dagger at his waist. They threw 4 goats bleeding from the knife gashes across their throats, and with their feet tied down into the boat, and then 4 live goats, their feet tied together too. Then they started bringing the water barrels back, heaving them into the boat with a lot of cursing and tipping and splashing. "One of these water things can kill us if they throw it on us by mistake," exclaimed Naganga. "I know," said Abraham, who had already wriggled as far out of the way as he could, so that he was almost on top of the heap of dead and live goats. "Move back a bit." At last the pirates rowed the little boat back to the big ship, and a rope ladder was thrown down. They climbed up nimbly, lifting the goats up by their tied feet. Then Naganga gave a great scream as a pirate picked her up, flung her over his shoulder, and quickly swung himself up onto the ladder and dropped her onto the deck of the big ship. Abraham braced himself and found himself hauled up too, his bare feet scraping against the roughness of the ladder, and then dumped down on the deck next to Naganga. A crowd of other sailors gathered round to stare down at them, laughing and exclaiming. Soon Abraham felt himself picked up again and carried along the deck, and then down a ladder into a dark and stinking cargo hold, where Naganga was quickly dumped down next to him, and the ropes around their wrists and legs were cut. And that's the end of chapter 1.